Hello everybody, this is Jurassic Adventures back again with another video. This time it is a long-awaited custom, about a year in the making, and this is going to be of the Hammond Collection Buck Tyrannosaurus Rex from the Lost World Jurassic Park. Now, I originally did some interesting modifications to the figure, and then I swapped over to the Marco Makes replacement head. But what I did at first is I took off the head, I put in glass eyes, and then I started sculpting all the different features such as the lower jaw and then all the neck folds, as you can see. I am not a sculptor by any means, so I think in hindsight this doesn't look very good at all. And then I just started painting. This here is that yellow that I usually do to fade up from the underbelly. And then I just started painting on some of those green tones. This is a lighter green, just kind of base coating the entire body. And then I went in with some darker greens and gave it some color variation with that airbrush, just multiple different patterns and stuff like that. Again, I think this thing looks super saturated and weird, so I did not really like how this was turning out at all, and I kind of put it off for a while because of that. But then I got the Marco Makes replacement head, I did the underbelly, and I basically repainted this entire thing. Same base figure, but I swapped out the head, and then just basically layered up colors on top of everything that I had already done previously, to make this thing look as perfect as I really wanted it to be. After that, I found a much better green and I painted the entire body, covering up that more saturated tone that I had previously done to make this thing look just that much better and more natural. With the green base coat out of the way, I just started building up various different shades of color variation with darker greens and browns to really make this thing look super naturalistic and realistic. I want to also make this thing as accurate to the animatronic as possible seen in the Lost World, so I'm just really putting in tons of detail into this thing to make it really look like that. Here you can see I'm airbrushing on those yellow stripes that are really iconic to the Buck T-Rex with that back pattern. And then after that, everything got outlined with a pretty dark tone. It's like a dark green gray, and we're just building that all up around the stripes to make it look really nice and kind of faded in. What I wound up doing actually was taking a brush in that same dark tone and giving those stripes a lot of crisp, clear detail that you do actually see on the animatronic model in some of those photos. It is hard finding references, but you can find some, and what you tend to find when looking at them is that the Buck actually does have some really nice crisp detailing that just gets covered up by the darkness of the scene and sort of like the rain fading the paint. After that, I took sort of a transparent dark green and just went around the stripes to really make sure that fade is there. And here I am painting the pink underneath the feet. That's a detail that not many people know about, but it is there on the actual thing. And then here I am airbrushing the tops of the scutes on the feet as well. There's really just a lot of colors that are used for this thing, just going back and forth between various different earth tones, so it took a while and I didn't exactly record everything. But here I am just picking out details on the face with a dark color similar to the stripes that we were doing earlier. All the detail that I put into my repaints really just comes down to patience and materials, so like having thinned down paints and fine detail brushes, and you can pretty much make anything happen if you have that much time on your hands. And I've only been painting for 3 years, but it's really just been a huge learning experience. I learn something new every single time I paint, and that's why I like it so much. And here I'm just taking some thinned down tan paint and going into the cracks of all that stuff, and then just wiping it away on the top to really give it that pop you see. And then here I'm just painting in those facial scars with a bit of a pink red paint. Just really getting in there and holding the breath, making sure all those lines are straight and it's not messy. The sculpt on this head replacement from Marco Makes is absolutely phenomenal. He did such a great job, and when you have a sculpt that's this good, it really does almost just paint itself. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, but he has a great video about the Buck T-Rex and how to put on the head and do all the modifications in case you did want to do this custom. But here I'm just dry brushing those ridges. And then I am airbrushing the entire mouth in transparent burnt umber ink. This works especially well for those rubber parts that won't accept paint very well. So just using this is actually going to make it so it can still flex and do all of that stuff, but give it a lot more detail than it previously would have had. I didn't just stop there though. I had to do a little bit of dry brushing, so what I did is I took Angela's leather shoe paint, which works very good for these flexible surfaces, and I applied a little bit of pink there. And then for the eye, I'm taking a sort of darker yellow shade, yellow-orange, and painting that in. After that, I did the black pupil, and then here I am doing the little white light catch in the corner of that pupil. And then after that was done, the last step was really just glossing everything up. For the eyes, I just used a normal acrylic gloss, but for the mouth, I used Angela's high gloss finisher, and that has that flexibility as well. And that, guys, concludes the Buck T-Rex custom. I am very pleased with this thing, and if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This is Jurassic Adventures, and I'll see you in the next video.